Anshuman Chowdhury is a senior researcher at the Institute of Peace and Conflict Studies. He joins me from New Delhi. Thank you so much for your time. Now, India has deep established ties with Myanmar's military. How much influence can New Delhi afford to bear on the military to return to a democracy before it burns its bridges?
Well, the real question here is, does India even want to burn its bridges here just to bring about democracy or encourage a reversal to the status quo ante before this? And the short answer is no, because we are talking about bridges here in more than metaphorical sense. India literally considers Myanmar as its quote-unquote land bridge to Southeast Asia under its Act East policy program. So I don't think New Delhi would like to disturb that relationship so far. So in public, we might see a few statements which support the pro-democracy movement or urge releasing Aung San Suu Kyi and the other civilian leaders. But behind closed doors, I think the relationship with the military is going to be more or less within the working framework. And we should also remember that Delhi has come very close to the Myanmar military, particularly close to the Myanmar military over the last 1 decade. So I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
Well, how far can the world's democracies push the military leadership in Myanmar without actually risking pushing them further into China's arms?
Well, not very much, I would say, because if we go by the past precedent, if we go by how the military has behaved during the past regimes, the military really doesn't care much about international opinion, particularly opinion coming from Western capitals. Now, this has become even more compounded in light of the post-August 2017 Rohingya crisis. The relationship between the Myanmar military and the Western world particularly and the wider region, I think has become a little awkward, has become fraught with tension. So I think this hostility is going to actually hinder democracies from, actually putting pressure on Myanmar, even through sanctions, to reverse. But I think ASEAN has some limited space to put some degree of pressure, although it's constrained by its clause of non-interference in domestic affairs of the country. However, I don't see Western capitals, particularly the EU and the United States or even India, succeeding very much to restore democratic order anytime soon.
Now, for India, any deepening of ties between Myanmar's military and the Chinese army is a further risk of destabilization in the region. What's the best outcome New Delhi can hope for here?
Well, the best outcome for New Delhi, in a very realistic sense, is that it continues its working relationship with the Myanmar military, which it had developed over the past 1 decade or so. Both establishments have significant mutual strategic interests. For instance, protecting India's northeastern borders from insurgent groups, right? And they have also conducted joint operations in the very recent past. So the best outcome for India would be that it continues working, so it continues that modality of working, and also it has a slew of development projects, investments in Myanmar. So I think the best outcome or the best case scenario for New Delhi at this moment would be that the military continues to advance those mutual interests, particularly because China has been also building infrastructure at a very rapid pace in Myanmar. So India certainly wants to compete on an equal footing there, and so it wouldn't want to lose the good faith of the Myanmar military.
Anshuman Chowdhury live to us from New Delhi. Thanks so much for your take. Really appreciate it.